Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I have a fun episode for you. I'm going to give you 6 signs that the opponent across from you is going to be easy to sweep or throw to the ground. This is going to help you gauge whether somebody's going to be easy to dump, and you're going to be able to go through this list and make sure you're not making any of the mistakes that are going to make you easy to sweep or throw. A big part of fight sports, especially in Muay Thai, MMA, and somewhat in kickboxing, is being able to take your opponent and toss them down to the ground. When you can do that, you show dominance. You show the ability to control the fight, not by striking somebody and hurting them, but just by making them flail and fall to the canvas. I gotta say, it's a pretty awesome feeling. This is something that I've had a lot of success with in my career. Sadly, kickboxing rules have started changing and they removed the ability to throw somebody, but I think it is one of the most beautiful elements of fight sports because in sparring, you can toss somebody to the ground and not hurt them, but show you are in control. And the first red flag that you are gonna note in either yourself or you're going to take advantage in others is when their stance is too narrow. This is something that we will see many high-level Muay Thai fighters do. They will have a very narrow stance, but they have that ability to make adjustments. Many people do not. They don't have that ability to stand in a really narrow stance and not get swept easy. There's a number of ways to take advantage of somebody when they're in this stance. Number one, you can just pick off their lead foot. If they're in this really narrow stance and you pick that foot off the ground and they have a decent amount of weight there, they're gonna start falling very quickly. Very easy way to knock somebody off balance if their stance is wide and you move their foot over. They're gonna be, oh, okay, I'm in a little bit more narrow of a stance, but I'm still solid. But once they put themselves here, very dangerous. In addition, if somebody stands in this stance, it's very easy to bring your thigh to their leg, or sorry, I guess that would be your thigh to their hamstring. Anyway, you get in really deep and you cross almost like a scissor sweep, one high, one low, and you dump them. And there's nothing they can do when they're in this stance. If they're here, when you hit them, they're solid. They're not going anywhere. So be very aware of the pros and cons of this stance and recognize if you are gonna stand like this, sweeping is that much more likely. And little bonus note, if you wanna get somebody from this stance to something a little bit more narrow, you can just throw an inside low. I do that a lot when I'm sparring and having fun. I'll throw the inside low, I'll throw it bit by bit. They'll start going, oh, and they start getting into that narrow stance and it's a perfect setup. The next mistake, which is very common, which makes somebody very easy to toss to the ground, is when their front foot takes the majority of the weight. I'm gonna call it front foot heavy. They're leaning their weight here. Now, the first thing that you have to recognize is just trying to do the sweep that we just talked about, maybe where you pick somebody off. That's a little difficult to do because if you just tap their foot, there's so much weight there that this leg does not shift. But if you can get them when they go to step forward, or you can kind of club their leg with your shin but go very low, because they're so front foot heavy, once that leg comes out, there's no recovery. They are gonna hit the ground and they're gonna hit it hard because they have too much weight over the front foot. It's very hard to do this to a Muay Thai fighter because they are back foot heavy, and back foot heavy is so much harder to sweep in the sense if I want to take this back leg out, it is so much further from me. But the front foot, because it's so close, it's easy to attack. You just take your low kick and you put it down even to the calf, and very often that in itself will put somebody down to the ground. The next massive mistake that somebody will make that is going to get them tossed to the ground is through clench work. You fall to the clench and your feet are staggered. So if I'm facing somebody here, I want my legs parallel. As soon as I take a step forward, this leg becomes so easy to attack. If I'm on the opposite side, I just take my leg and I put it against the one leg that is forward and I just bump. I bump their leg and I pull the opposite direction, and it is so easy to exploit somebody from that staggered stance. Staggered stances happen very often in MMA where they're worried about shooting in and for a takedown. Maybe you don't want to be in a parallel stance then. But for Muay Thai and kickboxing, when you fall to the clench and you're not worried about somebody shooting in and taking you down, this staggered stance is a nightmare. And as soon as somebody takes a step forward when I'm clenching with them, they're down on the ground. It is so easy to take advantage of. I'll have to get a full tutorial going on all the ways to throw people, but I need a training partner for that. So that video will definitely come in the future once my new filming space, which is underway right now, construction is happening, mats are being laid out. Once that is there, so many new episodes that I can deliver for you guys. And speaking of exciting, how often do you have a chance to get something for free, minus the cost of shipping? By Optimizers, this is the one supplement which I've been on, their magnesium product, to improve sleep, to improve recovery for my body for the month of July, and we're getting close to the end of it. You can pick up this bottle for free by only paying shipping. Only one bottle is free. If you enjoy it, which I believe you will, because I love it, everybody on the channel who's tried it loves it, then you have to buy your second one, your third one down the road. I'm gonna throw a link down below there to magnesiumbreakthrough.com/Gabriel free. Make sure you use that promo code Gabriel10 to get your free bottle. You can try it at no cost aside from minor little shipping amount. Pretty awesome. Moving back into ways to throw somebody red flags, something which I can note right away as soon as I start sparring with somebody is they are sluggish on the rechamber of the kick. That is a massive red flag. It makes it so easy, in particular for the low kick, to trap. Time and time again in fights, people throw the low kick and I'm able to reach down and grab. They are not leaving it hanging there, but they're definitely not rechambering really fast. And same thing up to the body. The longer you leave that kick out there, the more chance there is that somebody's gonna scoop it and grab. And then all of a sudden you're on one foot and they're planning how to toss you, how to flip you midair. You've got to be fast on your rechambers. What you can do, and this is something that I helped one of my students with a number of years ago. She had such amazing kicks this direction, but there was something wrong. She was feeling it. She came and asked me, how do I fix my kick? And I went, okay, you're executing your pivot really well as you go into the kick, but when you rechamber, you're just a little slow on getting that pivot back in place. So I pivot and then I unpivot very quickly. I almost unpivot to lead the body off, because as soon as I unpivot, everything follows. That naturally speeds up your rechamber, speeds up the length of the kick, and makes it very difficult for your kick to get caught, especially if you pull back that direction. It's like round kick into front kick. So hard to trap. Wow, so many great tips in this episode. I hope you guys are taking notes. If you're enjoying it, make sure you give the video a like. Let's move on to point number 5. And that is repeating the same kick over and over. Unless you are somebody like Yachts and Clay who can blast the same kick, blast the same kick. People see it coming, they just can't do anything. Generally, repeating the same technique is very dangerous. If somebody throws a front kick at me once, and they throw it a second time and I haven't caught it, you know I'm catching that kick on the third time and they're going down for it. In addition, some people are far too predictable. I'll throw a front kick and then they'll throw a front kick, especially if I land the front kick. Or I'll throw a left leg round kick a few times, batter their arm, and then they'll come back with the same thing. Far too predictable. Do not throw the same kick loads and loads in a row with no setup. If you set it up, every time you change it up, you slide, you change it, you keep them guessing, that's fine. But just to go left round kick, left round kick, left round kick, catch, sweep, you're gonna get tossed. And our final point for tonight, which could very well be one of the most important ones, one of the things that most people do wrong, is checking kicks improperly. When you check a kick improperly, you expose yourself in so many ways. So if I lift my legs straight up the front and somebody hits me, number one, it's gonna destroy my calf. Number two, my whole leg is gonna get knocked over to the side and I might just fall right there. That might be all it takes. In addition, when I come up here, I expose myself to that sweep we talked about before, where maybe I pump and then I just get in deep and I throw them down. So easy to take advantage of somebody who checks like this. If for some reason they're coming way too wide, then you can pump your leg up and attack that back leg, go really low, and they're gonna end up falling out. The check and having this thing on point, not coming too high, because if you go too high, again, they're gonna come under and they're gonna attack your standing leg. You gotta have this one not straight in front, slightly off to the side, not too high so you expose yourself. You gotta have the legs strong so that when you take impact, it doesn't buckle out and they can attack this. There's so many little elements. get all those down, and you're gonna be like a flamingo, just on one foot, locked in place, no big deal, ready to go. So there's the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you get subscribed. As always, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another video.